everybody, Keren here from tuppence.co.uk. Thank you very much for joining me today. This is what I've been making today. If I open it up, inside there is a pop-up flower pot complete with flowers. And I got this idea from watching Karen Burniston's YouTube channel. This is my take on it, and hope you like it. My piece of mint macaron is cut to 4 inches by 10 and 5/8, and I'm going to score it at 4, 4 1/8, 8 1/8, and 8 1/4. I did some die cutting with my coffee cup set, and I used Cajun Craze card, and I cut 5 copies of this particular one and 3 copies of that one. And I've got some of them here, not all of them, because I've already been busily working on some of them, and on 3 of the cups I just got a little bit of my soft suede ink and sponge, and just sponged around the edge. And same thing on these pieces. I didn't sponge these 2 die cuts because I've got plans for them. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of centering this, it doesn't have to be exact, on the halfway mark on my Simply Scored, and I'm just scoring on those 3 lines. I'll do it again just to show you. So line it up, the halfway mark, best as you can. And just score those pieces. So this is what I've got so far. Now I'm going to put these 2 pieces on one side, don't need them right this minute. And I'm going to just put a little bit of liquid adhesive along the bottom of these 2 pieces. Whoops, dropped it. And just pop that along there. I'll do this one the other way. I'll just put the glue on the pot. And I'm going to put them back to back so that my flower pots are lined up and are sticking out the same distance from either side. Go. Okay, with me so far? Okay, so now these pieces are going to be the gussets. It's a wonderful word, gusset. And I am just folding along those marks, those fold lines that I made, and along the halfway line. Same thing here and here. Okay, and I'm going to take my big scissors and I'm just going to trim down roughly about 1/2 inch, maybe 3/8 of an inch. Fold it in half. So just going to give those 2 pieces a quick sponging along the edge there, and I'm going to take one of these pots and I'm going to pop a line of liquid adhesive along the back there, and I'm going to line that up with the edge of my die cut piece. Now if any little bits stick over the end, that's not a problem, because I'm just going to take my snips and trim them away. And I could have just cut just some 1/2 inch pieces of card, sorry, 1-inch pieces of card and then trimmed them down. But as I had the die cutting machine out anyway, I thought I'd give this way a go for a change. Just trimming that away. So now I have that. I have sort of a dimensional flower pot. This is a little piece of scrap crumb cake card, and I measured my 3, 2, 1, where's my ruler? I've got a little piece of scrap crumb cake card here. It's about 1/2 inch deep, and I measured it to be about 1 inch longer than the top of the flower pot. So my flower pot is about 1 3/4 inch. So I've made this 2 3/4 inch, and I'm just going to sort of center it onto the flower pot. This is the one that I haven't put the flaps onto, and I'm just going to wrap it round so that it's kind of like a jacket. And now I'm going to line it up with itself, just making sure, and I'm just going to cut away those pieces that are sticking up. I've cut 2 pieces of mint macaron that are about 1 3/4 by 3/4 inch, and I've put a fold line 3/4 inch from one side, and I'm going to put some adhesive on the long piece, and I'm going to stick that into my flower pot as centered as I can, and I want that bottom fold level with the lower edge of the flower pot piece. I'm going to go and do exactly the same to the other one, and then we'll move on to the next step. I'm going to pull away that bit of dimensional that we put there in the first place. Again, bring the 2 pieces together, face to face, side by side. And into the middle she goes. On this piece, I'm going to cut a little strip from the edge of some leftover dimensionals. You could use actual full dimensionals if you wanted to, but I'm just putting that strip just across, oh, it's about 1/2 inch up from the bottom of the card. Okay, and what that is going to do, it will give me a little bit of space so that all my flowers don't get all bunched up together. I am sticking my punched out flowers and to my spacer piece before I put my pot together, and I'm also going to put flowers that I want to go in the front and at the back of the pot, and I'm going to put those in place now. And here are my 3 pieces of pot. Am I live? Yes, I am. And here are my 3 pieces of pot, and now I'm just going to put them together. So I'm going to start by popping some of my liquid adhesive onto the flap of my strut piece, is what I'm calling it. And I'm just going to fit that into the inside of my my piece of card that I've already done the that I've got the, oh, what am I calling them, the flaps, that piece there. Okay, so now liquid adhesive along the edge, and now I'm going to bring in the other piece of the flower pot, and I'm just going to line those pieces up together. Just make sure everything is tucked in where I want it, and that the pieces line up. There's my pot full of flowers. Just making sure that nothing's peeping out that I don't want to be peeping out. So here is my card base, and the way it's going to open is you kind of open it that way and the flowers will be popping up here. So I'm going to fold my two pieces of mint macaron, and I'm going to put some of my liquid adhesive, and I'm folding my card, centering this as far as possible. I'm just doing it, you know, just eyeballing it. Oops, did not want that to happen. And then the other flap, I'm just going to tug on it a little bit so that it lines up with the other side of the crease, so that when the card pops up, my flower pot isn't completely flat. It's got a little bit of depth to it. Now I'm just going to put a little bit more of liquid adhesive there. Oops. Just to make sure that everything's stuck down properly. And then I'll give this some time for the glue to set up. Alright, flower pots need flowers, so I've got some scraps of coloured card here. I'm going to start by cutting out a couple of the sprigs out of, this is Mossy Meadow. And I've got some old olive here. Let's do one in order here. Okay, that'll do me for the time being. So let's cut some flowers. Let me see. Let's have some Calypso coral. And these can be scraps of any sort of colour of flower that you may wish. That'll do for now. Excuse me. Okay, I want some flower centres, so this is saffron. Oops. And let's move the Granny Apple Green out of the way. And now I'm just going to assemble some flowers. So let's use this for my flower stems. I'm just popping my flowers into place where I think they'd look good. Okay, and I think 2 on this stem will be enough. A little spot of adhesive in the middle for the centres. It's me pick me up tool. Okay, so I'm going to go away and I'm going to punch out and make loads and loads of flower stems, and I'm also going to punch out some of the leaves with the leaf punch. I'm going to go away and do that, and then we can carry on playing. I've cut some squares of the gingham gala paper in the Grapefruit Grove colour, and they are 3 3/4 of an inch square. I'm putting my liquid adhesive and just lining them up on my paper so that they cover the pop-up bit, the bit that makes the pop-up pattern happen. I'm starting to get a little bit punch drunk with this one because this is the second incarnation of this that I've made, and it's just one of those days where just nothing has gone right for me. And the first one I made turned out okay, but when I looked at it I thought actually I don't like it that size because I made it 4x6 and it was too big. There was too much going on up here and down here. Okay, so this is the rest of the 6x6 piece. So it's 3 3/4 of an inch wide, and whatever is left over after I've cut off the 3 3/4 inch length, and it's kind of worked out pretty well. Okay, so yeah, I'm happy with that one. One more thing, here it is. Oops, flying flowers. I have one of the pearlized doilies, and I'm going to cut it, well, it's almost in half, but what I'm going to do is take out one of those pieces there. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm just cutting either side of this crossways piece, so that I wind up with 2 pieces of doily. And going to stick those down. Whoops, you see it's either feast or famine at the moment with this liquid adhesive. Either it comes out in great blobs or it doesn't come out at all. So yeah, I'm just going to dab that in the back of my hand to get rid of the extra bits, the excess bits that I don't need. And I'm just going to line that up with my flowers. And again, same thing for the other half, the other part. I'm going to give that some time to set, and I'm going to cover what's going to be the front of the card with another piece of the Grapefruit Grove gingham paper, but I'm going to turn it over so that the large checks are on the front. And yeah, then we'll come back and do a bit more finishing off. So here's what I did with the other pieces I cut out. I've made another flower pot with flowers sticking out of it, and because this one is going to be glued to the front of the card, I didn't need to do anything about making these stronger, so they're just single layer. And I've got another one of the pearlized doilies, just to keep with the theme. Cut that up. That's going to go onto the front and centre of the card, and then plenty of liquid adhesive onto the flowers and the flower pot. Make sure that this sticks down quite well. And pop that onto the front of the card. And now all I need is my sentiment. I've stamped out the I'm lucky to have a friend like you sentiment from the Love What You Do stamp set onto a piece of mint macaron card, and I've cut it out with one of the stitched shapes. I used the second to largest oval, and my original idea was to use this to be a sort of an easel card, but it's just too big. It wouldn't stand up properly. So I've gone back to the idea of we'll just have it as a panel at the bottom. So there it is. That is the finished card. And there were a number of changes of design direction along the way when I made this card. And to be honest with you, there was one point when I felt like I was going to throw it out the window. But I persevered with it, and I hope you like the result. And if so, then don't forget to click that thumbs up button, give me a like, and come back and see me again sometime soon. But that's all for now. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you again sometime soon. Bye bye.